Hey everyone, it's Rihanna and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to start off my What I've Watched series of 2018. I used to do these videos a very long time ago where I would tell you what films I'd watched and then I'd do TV favourite videos. But I thought I'd just put them together because, I mean, doesn't matter if you're watching films or TV, you're still watching something. And a video series done by one of my favourite people on YouTube, who is Polar Bananas Books, aka Christina Riccio, was her Stories I Ate This Month series, where she just told her viewers what books she's read, what TV shows and movies she's watched. I just love watching those videos, so I thought I would give it a go myself. So we're kicking things off with what I've watched in January 2018. This is a surprisingly long list, considering most of the time I don't think I watch as many films as everybody else on the film tube community. However, somehow I've got time to watch more films and TV shows. So let's get on with it. So I'm pretty sure the first film I watched in January was probably Pitch Perfect 3, which I think I saw on New Year's Day. This would have been my second viewing or third viewing of Pitch Perfect 3. I know not everyone is a huge fan of this Pitch Perfect franchise, but I absolutely love the first film. So obviously I was going to go see Pitch Perfect 3. It's one of those guilty pleasures. I kind of know it's bad, but I love it still movies, and I just went multiple times with multiple people because I have a cinema membership card that just lets me go however many times I want to, so I might as well. Anyway, yeah, I really kind of enjoyed Pitch Perfect 3. It's super cheesy, super bad, but in a good way. It was just a nice send-off for the Bellas, really. Not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but you know, I enjoyed the hell out of it, so there you go, Pitch Perfect 3. The next film I watched actually got a ton of Oscar nominations for the 2018 Oscars, and that is Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, starring Frances McDormand as a mother who's recently just lost... Anyway. The next film I watched got a whole ton of Oscar buzz and lots of nominations, and that is Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, which is getting so much hype, and I can see why. It's based around a single mother who's played by Frances McDormand, whose daughter was raped and murdered, and the police department in her small town in Ebbing just doesn't seem to be working hard enough to find out who did it. And she basically rents out 3 billboards that are outside her town. When you drive into it, you can see them questioning why the police haven't done anything, and it really revolves around how these 3 billboards affect the town and her and the police department and what they're trying to do to solve this case. And Frances McDormand in this film is absolutely incredible. She's definitely going to get the Best Actress award at the Oscars, deservingly so. She is amazing, probably one of the best bits about the film. The writing is also great. The director and the writer has done some amazing stuff in the past, and this is probably one of his best. It was funny, but darkly funny, and just tonally appropriate for the story. And I just think the character development was really, really interesting. We have Woody Harrelson and Sam Rockwell, who were supporting actors in the film, and they were great. I mean, Sam Rockwell is like one of my favourite people ever, so he's always great. But yes, if you haven't checked out Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri yet, you definitely should before the Oscars come around, and they are coming around very soon. A TV show that returned from its mid-season finale of season 2 is The Good Place on Netflix, which I just absolutely love. It's just pure joyous television and just puts a smile on my face every single time I watch it. As I said, the show is on its season 2 now, but if you want to go watch it all on Netflix, which I recommend you do, it is about a character called Eleanor Shulstrop who dies, and in this world, when you die, you either go to the good place or the bad place, depending on how you were in your life. And Eleanor mistakenly gets put in the good place when she should definitely be put in the bad place. So the show kind of revolves around her trying to become a better person, and it just goes from there, really. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but you need to watch this show. It's hilarious, the characters are great, Kristen Bell's great, everyone's great. Just, oh my god, Ted Danson. Oh my god, so good. I just love The Good Place. Next up, we have a rewatch of a film that is just one of my favourite films of all time, and I thought, you know what, it's time for a rewatch, and that is The Fall from 2006, starring Lee Pace and Katika Ntara. It tells the story of a paralysed stuntman in a hospital in Los Angeles in the 1920s who befriends a little girl, Alexandria, and he tells her an epic tale of a bandit and a group of misfits who are going to destroy Governor Odious, who has done bad things to each and every one of them. And in return for this story, this little girl must get something for Roy, who is played by Lee Pace. And just, this film blows my mind every single time I watch it. The cinematography, the story, the acting is just so incredible. The acting by Lee Pace, the acting by Katinka Untara, who was only 6 at the time, is crazy amazing. The characters of Alexandria and Roy just break my heart every single time, and just, I will never stop going on about how this film wasn't recognised for its cinematography at the time, because it would have wiped all of those Oscar nominees out the window. Like, it literally could wipe the floor with them. So anyway, I recommend you all go watch The Fall. Whether you like the story or not, you gotta appreciate that it's probably the most beautiful film of all time. Up next, we have a rewatch. I actually watched this film twice in the month of January, and I've seen it 4 times in total. And I don't think I'm ashamed of it either. And that is The Greatest Showman, starring Hugh Jackman and Zac Efron, Zendaya, Rebecca Ferguson and Michelle Williams. I don't know if you guys knew, but I really love The Greatest Showman. I'm a sucker for musicals, so any original musicals that come out, I just love them. I love, like, the whole aesthetic of it, like the choreography and the songs are just so good. It's not the most perfect film, it's got a lot of weird plot holes and pacing issues, and it's just obviously not going to be for everyone, but I love musicals. I like joyful stories. So sue me, I guess, but yeah, I love The Greatest Showman so much. Another film, I kind of neglected TV shows this month anyway, but more films. So I finally got to see The Disaster Artist, starring James Franco as Tommy Wiseau, who was the director and writer of the infamous film The Room, which is known as the best worst film of all time, and I've seen it and I can clarify that it is. So The Disaster Artist basically tells the story of Tommy Wiseau and his best friend Greg, who moved to Hollywood in hopes that they will become actors, and Greg sort of has a little bit of success but Tommy doesn't, and he's kind of very in denial of that. Therefore, he writes his own film, then he produces it and directs it, and there we go. We have The Room. And as much as I'm not the biggest fan of James Franco as a person at the moment, I thought he did great in the role of Tommy Wiseau. He just totally encaptured him, got the dialogue down to a T. It was just great. It was a really funny film, a kind of eye-opening film. It was quite inspiring, obviously, because Tommy Wiseau just said, you know what, you don't want me, then I'm just going to make my own fame. And he did. So, you know, that's kind of inspiring. So the next film that I watched was just, I don't even know if I want to talk about it, but we're going to talk about Downsizing a little bit. It is a film starring Kristen Wiig and Matt Damon, and it's about a world where, because the world is getting too overly populated, people have the choice to downsize, which means they can become about this tall. And when you downsize, your life is just kind of more improved. You get a better house, you get a better job, you get better money and everything like that, but there are kind of different sides to downsizing. There's also poverty when you downsize, so it's not all great. So Matt Damon and Kristen Wiig star as this married couple who are kind of not liking their life at the minute and are fascinated by the idea of downsizing when one of their high school friends does it, and they decide to downsize. But as you see in the trailer, Kristen Wiig kind of backs out and Matt Damon is left being this tall. And in the movie, he tries to make the best out of a bad situation and kind of help out with the situation with downsizing and overpopulation. It's a very interesting original concept, but the execution is awful. This film felt so long. I believe it's about 2 hours and 15 minutes, but it just felt like it was going on for hours and hours. I literally felt like I was sat in my cinema seat for 4 hours. I was bored, it was getting repetitive, and just the execution, I didn't feel like it was very good. I feel like it's one of those films that wanted to get like loads of Oscar buzz, and I don't actually think it did get any Oscar buzz. I don't think it got any nominations. Alexander Payne is losing it a little bit as a director. I mean, I appreciate his work, I love The Descendants, but just, I don't know what you're doing, man. Going a little bit crazy. Going from something I didn't really like to something I loved, I watched the TV show on Netflix called The End of the Fucking World, and oh my god, so good. Sometimes I get really proud of being British because I think we just have the best TV shows. The End of the Fucking World bases itself around 2 teenagers called Alyssa and James thinks he might be a psychopath, and Alyssa is kind of that cool girl who doesn't really care. She's new at school and everything like that. And they pair up and go on a little mission to find Alyssa's dad. Along the way, they get into some mad situations that you couldn't even imagine, but the execution of this show I just think is fantastic. It does take a while to get used to, but once you hit maybe the third episode, you just cannot stop watching. It's a very short series. There's 8 episodes and they are 20 minutes long each, so it's super, super easy to binge. I really love the characters of James and Alyssa. I love the dialogue here. It's just very British and very kind of darkly funny, which I really, really liked. The End of the Fucking World was just a really nice surprise, a really quick binge on Netflix, and just, I really, really enjoyed it. Up next is another rewatch. I rewatched La La Land on Netflix, and what can I say that I haven't already said about La La Land? I just love this film. It's pure magic, it's beautiful, it's just inspiring, and I love it so, so much. I don't even want to go into how much I love La La Land because we could be here all day. Next up, we have a new watch which I didn't see in cinemas, but I watched on Netflix in the UK, and that is Now You See Me Too. Now, unpopular opinion time. I was actually a fan of the first Now You See Me film, mainly because I love magic. I kind of have a soft spot for it. It wasn't the best film, but, you know, still enjoyed it. But Now You See Me Too follows the horsemen as they go on all of their adventures, and something happens, and you know what happens in Now You See Me. It's just basically the same thing but different. And this time around, I don't know, it just didn't wow me at all. I was kind of wowed when I saw the first Now You See Me. I was like super into it. And my sister said, you know, I really like Now You See Me Too more than Now You See Me. And I just really wasn't wowed by it. I just didn't think the final act was very good and as good as the first one, and I didn't think the acting was good or the plot or anything. Yeah, just wasn't for me, I don't think. I really hope they don't make a third one. Just stop now. TV show time. This is a new TV show that I'm super excited to talk about, and that is The Gifted, which is on Fox. This show really reminds me of Heroes, and Heroes is one of my favourite shows, so naturally I love it. The Gifted is based in the X-Men universe, whether that's like the TV universe or the movie universe. You know that whole universe the X-Men have got going on, the Fox universe, that one. And it follows 2 teenagers called Lauren and Andy who discover they are mutants and have to go on the run. They live in the future where mutants are really looked down upon, and you have Sentinel services on their case at all times. And there are a group of mutants who have started this thing called the Mutant Underground, where they take refugees and try to help them out. And I really just loved this show. Of course, it's not the most well written, most groundbreaking, blah blah blah. It's not one of those shows, okay? It's simple, it's kind of dumb, but I really, really like the characters, and I have a soft spot for superheroes, so sue me. Up next is another new watch that I didn't watch in cinemas in 2017 because I couldn't be bothered and thought it looked rubbish, and that is the Power Rangers movie, the live action one from last year. And I'm kind of glad I didn't go and see it in cinemas because it wasn't all that great, but you know, nostalgia and stuff, because I used to watch Power Rangers all the time when I was little, so I thought, you know, I have to. And it also has Darcy Montgomery from Stranger Things in it, and I'm kind of obsessed with him at the moment, so I had to watch the Krispy Kreme movie. You know what, with this cast of characters, because you have such a diverse cast, they could have done so much more with the Power Rangers. Like, if you'd have just had a good writer, it could have actually been good. It was cheesy. Rita Repulsa was disappointing. I really don't hope they make a new one. Just please don't make a new one. Just leave it. Leave it to be its cheesy 90s self. That being said, I do appreciate the fact that the film did very much reflect the cheesiness of the 90s TV show. Good job. Another rewatch was Baby Driver. I didn't know if you guys knew, but I loved Baby Driver. Did you guys know? Did you guys know that? I feel like you knew that. Not much to say about Baby Driver, really. It still remains one of my favourite films of 2017. The soundtrack's great, the editing's great. It's just pure wonderfulness. Like, I don't know anyone who doesn't like Baby Driver, so says it all, really. This list just keeps going on, but we're going to talk about Get Out next. This was a rewatch as well. I watched this on the plane to America last year and didn't quite understand the hype when I first saw it. I was very kind of confused. I know it's very simple to understand, but this is me we're talking about. It takes a lot, you know? Anyway, on the rewatch, I appreciated Get Out so much more. The little details that Jordan Peele put in this film for the rewatching was just fabulous. Like, oh my god, just mind explosions happened in my brain. I think the acting is great, the story's great, super original. Usually I don't like horror movies, but I really dug Get Out just because it had such a good substance to the story. I appreciate it 10 times more now. Okay, only 3 more to go, let's do it. So I watched In Bruges, which is the same director as 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. His name is Martin McDough, I think. He's an Irish director or a Canadian director. I can't remember. Oh my god, don't quote me on any of this. Anyway, In Bruges was one of his earlier films. It stars Colin Farrell and it stars the other Gleeson that isn't Domhnall. Brendan Gleeson. It stars Brendan Gleeson. And they're both assassins that are sent to Bruges to kind of lay low until they're given their next mission. And it's all about them two and their tensions. And it also has Ray Fiennes in it, who gives a fantastic performance. I really enjoyed In Bruges. It has a really dark English humour to it, which I really liked. Kind of started to get bored halfway through, I won't lie. Definitely had improvements to be made in that film, but I really enjoyed it. Another rewatch was Pacific Rim. Pacific Rim 2 Uprising, or whatever it's called, is coming out soon, so I had to show my friend Pacific Rim. You guys know I love it. It's one of my favourite films. I have a review on it. You don't need to know how much I love it, but it's great. And then another one that I watched directed by Guillermo del Toro, which is last on my list, finally, is The Shape of Water, which was actually a rewatch. I saw this film back in October of 2017 at the London Film Festival, and it's only just come out in the UK. So I went with my friend to go see The Shape of Water, and I'm really glad I did, because obviously it's got nominated for so many Oscars, and it was just nice to have a refresher. I love this film. I think it's super creative, original. I love the ideas behind it, the creature design, the acting, everything is just so great. And of course, I love Guillermo del Toro. He has my heart. And I'm not gonna lie, I hope The Shape of Water basically just takes home every Oscar it's nominated for, because yes. Whew, and breathe. Those are all the TV shows and films I watched in the month of January in 2018. I hope you guys enjoyed this list, and please tell me down below what you watched in January. Of course, if you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing one of these every single month to keep you updated. And if you want to, you can find me on social media. I am rhiannatoria on everything, including Letterboxd and Stardust. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you very soon. Bye!